This is today's Bible reading, God's bow or a goddess's necklace. God's Genesis flood narrative closes with a promise by God that the destruction of the human race with a flood would not occur again. In Genesis 9:8 through 17, the covenant between God and Noah represents a binding commitment between God and humans. God initiates a covenant never to destroy humanity with the water again, and the sign of this covenant forever is God's rainbow placed in the sky. At the end of the Mesopotamian flood narratives, there are also speeches made by the deities. The humans will not be destroyed again. There is also a sign established in the sky as a reminder. However, the purpose and context is quite different from that of the biblical flood story. In both the Gilgamesh epic and the story of Atrahasis, the flood ends with the majority of gods glad to have the terror over. The reaction of the deities varied. Enlil, the warrior god, is furious over the survival of the few remaining humans. On the other hand, the goddess Ninhursag, Nintu, or Ishtar in some renditions, the goddess of both human and divine children, is devastated that her children have been destroyed. In an appeal made in highest heaven, Ninhursag declares that this deed by the gods is an evil against her and that her grief must be appeased. She takes the big flies created by Anu, makes them into a necklace, and sets it up as a daily reminder to the gods never to destroy the people, on whom the gods depend again. In the Mesopotamian flood narrative, the covenant was made solely on the divine level, and the sign was for the gods alone. In Genesis, God's rainbow is a visible sign of his covenant promises to Noah, to Noah's descendants, and to all living creatures of the earth. Now, chapter 9. So God blessed Noah and his sons and said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. And the fear of you and the dread of you shall be on every beast of the earth, on every bird of the air, on all that move on the earth, and all the fish of the sea. They are given into your hand. Every moving thing that lives shall be food for you. I've given you all things, even as the green herbs. But you shall not eat flesh with its life, that is, its blood. Surely for your lifeblood I will demand a reckoning. From the hand of every beast I will require it, and from the hand of man. From the hand of every man's brother I will require the life of man." Whoever sheds man's blood, by man his blood shall be shed. For in the image of God he made man. And as for you, be fruitful and multiply. Bring forth abundantly in the earth and multiply in it. Then God spoke to Noah and to his sons with him, saying, "And as for me, behold, I establish my covenant with you and with your descendants after you, and with every living creature that is with you, the birds, the cattle, and every beast of the earth with you, of all that go out of the ark, every beast of the earth. Thus I establish my covenant with you. Never again shall all flesh be cut off by the waters of the flood. Never again shall there be a flood to destroy the earth." And God said, "This is the sign of the covenant which I make between me and you, and every living creature that is with you, for perpetual generations. I set my rainbow in the cloud, and it shall be for the sign of the covenant between me and the earth. It shall be when I bring a cloud over the earth, that the rainbow shall be seen in the cloud, And I will remember my covenant, which is between me and you and every living creature of all flesh. The waters shall never again become a flood to destroy all flesh. The rainbow shall be in the cloud, and I will look on it to remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is on the earth. And God said to Noah, "This is the sign of the covenant which I have established between me and all flesh that is on the earth." Noah and his sons. Now the sons of Noah who went out of the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And Ham was the father of Canaan. These three were the sons of Noah, and from these the whole earth was populated. And Noah began to be a farmer, and he planted a vineyard. Then he drank of the wine and was drunk, and became uncovered in his nakedness in his tent. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father, and told his two brothers outside. But Shem and Japheth took a garment, laid it on both their shoulders, and went backward and covered the nakedness of their father. Their faces were turned away, and they did not see their father's nakedness. So Noah awoke from his wine and knew what his younger son had done to him. Then he said, "Cursed by Canaan, a servant of servants, he shall be to his brethren." Blessed be the Lord, the God of Shem, and may Canaan be his servant. May God enlarge Japheth, and may he dwell in the tents of Shem, and may Canaan be his servant. And Noah lived after the flood 350 years. So all the days of Noah were 950 years, and he died. The First World Empire. Genesis 10, 8 through 10. The city of Akkad was one of the major urban centers in central Mesopotamia, and according to Genesis 10:10, one of the first cities in the kingdom of the legendary Nimrod. Although the precise location has not been found, Akkad was most likely near Babylon. The Sumerian name of the city was Agade. A certain Sargon of Agade founded the city and made it the capital of an early Semitic dynasty. Sargon and his successors, notably his grandson Naram-Sin, were able to control all of the Tigris-Euphrates basin and claimed to have even reached the Mediterranean Sea. The dynasty of Agad lasted for about 2 centuries and was in fact the first world empire. Evidently, the city was then destroyed and not subsequently reoccupied. A Sumerian text from the late 3rd millennium BC, the Curse of Agad, commemorates the city's demise. The term Akkad survived after the city was gone. The title, Sumer and Akkad, continued to be used for the region of southern Mesopotamia until the late Achaemenid period, 4th century BC. The language of the Semitic-speaking peoples of Akkad is now known as Akkadian. Later peoples of Mesopotamia, including the Assyrians and Babylonians, employed Akkadian as a written language of the region. Akkadian texts have been discovered dating as late as the 1st century AD. Now, Book of Genesis, chapter 10. Nations descended from Noah. Now this is the genealogy of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and sons were born to them after the flood. The sons of Japheth were Gomer, Magog, Madai, Yaban, Tubal, Meshech, and Tiras. The sons of Gomer were Ashkenaz, Riphath, and Togarmah. The sons of Yaban were Elisham, Tarshishi, Kittim, and Dodanim. From these, the coastland peoples of the Gentiles were separated into their lands, everyone according to his language, according to their families, into their nations. The sons of Ham were Cush, Mizraim, Put, and Canaan. The sons of Cush were Seba, Havilah, Sabta, Rama, and Sabtekah. And the sons of Rama were Sheba and Dedan. Cush begot Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one on the earth. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Therefore it is said, like Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, Erech, Akkad, and Calneh, in the land of Shinar. From that land he went to Assyria and built Nineveh, Rehoboth Ir, Kala, and Rezin, between Nineveh and Kala. That is the principal city. Mizraim begot Ludim, Anamim, Lehabim, Naphtuhim, Pathrushim, and Casluhim, from whom came the Philistines and Caphtorim. Canaan begot Sidon his firstborn, and Heth, the Jebusite, the Amorite, and the Girgashite, the Hivite, the Arkite, and the Sinite, the Arvadite, the Zemarite, and the Hamathite. Afterward, the families of the Canaanites were dispersed, and the border of the Canaanites was from Sidon as you go toward Gerar, as far as Gaza. Then as you go toward Sodom, Gomorrah, Admah, and Zeboim, as far as Lasha. These were the sons of Ham, according to their families, according to their languages, in their lands and in their nations. And children were born also to Shem, the father of all the children of Eber, the brother of Japheth the elder. The sons of Shem were Elam, Ashur, Arphaxad, Lud, and Aram. The sons of Aram were Uz, Hul, Gether, and Mash. Arphaxad begot Salah, and Salah begot Eber. To Eber were born two sons. The name of one was Peleg, for in his days the earth was divided, and his brother's name was Yoktan. Yoktan begot Almodad, Shelef, Hazarmavet, Zerah, Hadoram, Uzal, Dikla, Obal, Abimael, Shiva, Ophir, Havilah, and Yobab. All these were the sons of Yoktan, and their dwelling place was from Mesha as you go toward Sephar, the mountain of the east. These were the sons of Shem, according to their families, according to their languages, in their lands, according to their nations. These were the families of the sons of Noah, according to their generations, in their nations, and from these the nations were divided on the earth after the flood. The first major city, Genesis 10:10. Iraq is the biblical form of Uruk, a Sumerian city on the Euphrates River in ancient Mesopotamia. Although the name Iraq is cited only in Genesis 10:10 and Ezra 4:9, its historical importance far exceeds its scant mention in the Bible. Uruk, Iraq, played a role in the origin of urbanization as well as being one of the great religious centers of Mesopotamia. Archaeological investigations have confirmed that the Ubaydian people, early inhabitants of Sumer, founded two villages in this area before 4000 BC. By 3700 BC, the two centers fused together to create Uruk, the first urban site in world history. The first evidence of public architecture, cylinder seals, and the origins of writing come from this city. Building projects at Uruk included the earliest known ziggurat, a holy mound at the top of which was the White Temple. Cylinder seals, which were used to mark ownership, spread from Uruk throughout the ancient world. Picture writing, dated to about 3200 BC, expressed ideas through a series of pictures. This writing would later evolve into the script known as cuneiform, used first by the Sumerians, early inhabitants of the Tigris-Euphrates Valley. Religion was prominent in Uruk. An, the chief deity, was the head of the Sumerian pantheon of gods. Inanna, the goddess of love, was believed to bring fertility and prosperity to Sumer through her marriage to the god Dumuzi. The exploits of Gilgamesh, a legendary king of Uruk, in search of immortality, mention many of the Sumerian gods and goddesses. Late in the 4th millennium, the population of Uruk began to expand their culture, controlling major trade routes and the surrounding regions economically. It is not clear whether this also resulted in political domination. However, Uruk is the second city named in the Sumerian king list, a document that traces the succession of cities which ruled Sumer after the flood. Uruk had a long history, existing until Hellenistic times, the end of the 1st millennium BC. Its longevity is apparent from the two occurrences of Erech in the Bible. It is mentioned very early as part of Nimrod's post-flood kingdom. Much later in time, it is one of the cities and nations riding against Jerusalem during the reign of the Persian ruler Artaxerxes the One. Babel and its tower, Genesis 11:1 through 9. Babel was one of the chief cities in Nimrod's kingdom, Genesis 10:8 through 10. The term Babel is the Hebrew form of the name Babylon, the city on the Euphrates River in central Mesopotamia. The city has a very ancient past. It is first mentioned by the Akkadian king Sargon, who, according to tradition, burned it. Shara Kali Shari restored its temple tower. Hammurabi, 1792 through 1750 BC, a king of the first dynasty of Babylon, made it his capital city. Unfortunately, archaeologists have been able to find evidence only as far back as the period of the Neo-Babylonian king Nebuchadnezzar II, 605 BC and later. The rising water table in the area has prevented much research into earlier periods. Babel has received much attention over its tower. It likely was a staged temple tower, the distinctive Mesopotamian structure known by the Sumerian term ziggurat. Ziggurats were developed in the 3rd millennium BC at Uruk, Erech, and Ur in Babylonia, as well as at Nineveh, and consisted of smaller and smaller stages or stories built on top of each other. Those who believe the tower at Babel refers to temple ruins from Mesopotamia point especially to Etemenanki, the ziggurat of the Marduk temple in Babylon. A Babylonian text describes it as having a base of 290 feet square with 7 platforms over 108 feet high. The top platform had a temple where the god met with humanity. Access was achieved by ramps or stairways. In Genesis, the tower was never completed. The Etemenanki did not fare much better. It was repaired by the Assyrian king Esarhaddon, severely damaged in the Assyrian civil war, restored again by Nebuchadnezzar II, but destroyed by the Persian king Xerxes I in 472 BC. Alexander the Great, 323 BC, declared the area to rebuild it, but died prematurely. Okay, chapter 11, the Tower of Babel. Now the whole earth had one language and one speech, and it came to pass as they journeyed from the east, that they found the plain in the land of Shinar. And they dwelt there. Then they said to one another, "Come, let us make bricks and bake them thoroughly." They had brick for stone, and they had asphalt for mortar. And they said, "Come, let us build ourselves a city, and a tower whose top is in the heavens. Let us make a name for ourselves, lest we be scattered abroad over the face of the whole earth." But the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the sons of men had built. And the Lord said, "Indeed, the people are one, and they all have one language, and this is what they begin to do. Now nothing that they propose to do will be withheld from them. Come, let us go down and there confuse their language, that they may not understand one another's speech." So the Lord scattered them abroad from there over the face of all the earth, and they ceased building the city. Therefore its name is called Babel, because there the Lord confused the language of all the earth, and from there the Lord scattered them abroad over the face of all the earth. Shem's descendants. This is the genealogy of Shem. Shem was 100 years old and begot Arphaxad 2 years after the flood. After he begot Arphaxad, Shem lived 500 years and begot sons and daughters. Arphaxad lived 35 years and begot Salah. After he begot Salah, Arphaxad lived 433 years and begot sons and daughters. Salah lived 30 years and begot Eber. After he begot Eber, Salah lived 403 years and begot sons and daughters. Eber lived 34 years and begot Peleg. After he begot Peleg, Eber lived 430 years and begot sons and daughters. Peleg lived 30 years and begot Reu. After he begot Reu, Peleg lived 209 years and begot sons and daughters. Reu lived 32 years and begot Serug. After he begot Serug, Reu lived 207 years and begot sons and daughters. Serug lived 30 years and begot Nahor. After he begot Nahor, Serug lived 200 years and begot sons and daughters. Nahor lived 29 years and begot Terah. After he begot Terah, Nahor lived 119 years and begot sons and daughters. Now Terah lived 70 years and begot Abram, Nahor, and Haran. Terah's descendants. This is the genealogy of Terah. Terah begot Abram, Nahor, and Haran. Haran begot Lot. And Haran died before his father Terah in his native land, in Ur of the Chaldeans. Then Abram and Nahor took wives. The name of Abram's wife was Sarai, and the name of Nahor's wife Milcah, the daughter of Haran, the father of Milcah, and the father of Iscah. But Sarai was barren, she had no child. And Terah took his son Abram and his grandson Lot, the son of Haran, and his daughter-in-law Sarai, his son Abraham's wife, and they went out with them from Ur of the Chaldeans to go to the land of Canaan, and they came to Haran and dwelt there. So the days of Terah were 205 years, and Terah died in Haran. This is the end of the Bible reading today. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day. God bless you, and see you tomorrow.